Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Check Your Minimap podcast. I'm your host, Threshold Breaker, but call me THB, and I'm joined by Ansem.
Hey guys.
Today we'll be comparing the following subjects between Battlefield 4 versus Battlefield Hardline: time to kill, throwables, grenade types, and new gadgets. So, time to kill, obviously a big issue in Battlefield Hardline. First thing I kind of wanted to go after was the game style, the two game styles, Battlefield 4 versus Battlefield Hardline. You know, in my opinion, the pace of Battlefield Hardline seems to be a lot faster than BF4, where BF4 has some maps specifically outlined for CQC, close quarters combat for those of you who don't know, like Metro and Lockers, as well as larger maps. In Battlefield Hardline, you don't need to go far to get into a firefight, kind of in Battlefield 4. Sometimes you do. This makes you think more strategically in Battlefield Hardline about how you approach different capture points, rooms, fields, and streets. Also, unlike Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline is more infantry focused. The big thing for most people coming from Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3, in my opinion, you have to realize this does not exactly play the same way as those games. You need to take your mind out of the mentality of those games and their style before you dive into this game. Otherwise, you're really will find yourself questioning everything that is this game. I personally was guilty of that because, Battlefield name was attached to this title. So if you guys are thinking that way, you're not alone in thinking in that manner. I was in the same boat. One last thing in terms of game style that I'd like to talk about really is, I don't know exactly the vision of this game in terms of, like I said, game style, but it certainly seems that the developers were maybe trying to, in their own way, mesh COD and Battlefield. The game definitely felt like it was supposed to be a reaction Twitch type of shooter, but it seems to miss the mark with various game mechanic issues. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the fact that they were like, all right, let's do this more realistic. Let's make time to kill actually what it is for the most part in real life. But at the same time, they didn't give gun balance to all the guns. Some were really great, some weren't. So it pretty much turned into you have to play that game, Battlefield Hardline, in a very specific way. Because you blink and you die.
And that really gets on to the point of time to kill. I mean, you're really hitting the the nail on the head with that. Some of the questions I really came up with was, why does Battlefield Hardline time to kill seem? It's a perception thing. It really is a perception thing when you come down to it. Like, the person who's shooting you probably is putting a lot of bullets into you, but what you're getting is a bulk of information on your side, and poof, you're dead.
Well, this is very true, because the netcode still has issues. It's still not as fast as we would like it. It still doesn't completely hold up under the pressures of the game mechanics as we have them. And so it can only tell your side so much information at one time. But the guns shoot sometimes tens, like the K10 shoots more than 5 times the refresh rate of your game. It literally kills you before your game updates. That is how fast that thing goes.
There's no way. What is it, 1250 RPM or something like that?
Yes, I do believe it is 1250 RPM. And your game updates at 30 a second.
Sorry, that's funny. I don't disagree with that. I mean, I didn't even know that's. I mean, I knew the RPM on the K10, but I didn't know the internal refresh rate.
We had this issue originally in Battlefield 4. A lot of, single screen deaths, spawn and die, all you get's a black screen. And the reason is guns shot so fast and did so much damage that collectively all those rounds had to be calculated and given to you at one time because it was just so fast. I mean, in Battlefield 4, the guy who had the biggest problem was the FAMAS. 1,000 RPM, 1,000 rounds.
Yeah, you think they would learn their lesson, right? Like, what happened when we put the last 1,000 RPM gun into the game?
I I don't know what they were thinking when they did not remember that. I mean, all right, give us a gun that is stupid, fast, and powerful.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I considered as well, and this is on the same line you're talking about, some weapons got an RPM increase. Some of the weapons that were used by everybody got an RPM increase. And some of them, they got a damage model increase, and I'll talk two specifically. The M416 went from 750 RPM from Battlefield 4 to 850 RPM in Battlefield Hardline. Another one that's a biggie is the P90, which damage model went from 21 to 25 base damage. So you're going from 21 in BF4 to 25 in BF Hardline. The fall off in terms of the damage model is steeper in Battlefield Hardline, where it's more gradual in Battlefield 4. So those are some significant things, and that will ultimately add to your time to kill because you're changing up the formula, so to speak.
Well, yeah, they looked at the P90 and they're like, okay, this is supposed to be a close encounter gun. Let's make it an actual close encounter gun. P90 shoots really fast, does a ton of damage, and if you are right up on somebody, you're just gonna melt their face off.
Yeah,
But they at least put in the fact that if you get far enough away, it takes a couple seconds. But still, these guns are shooting at such high RPM that you get registered that you're being shot and then you're dying, even at distance.
Yeah. But to add to the whole damage model thing, and this is something interesting I discovered while playing as well as doing some more research, is Hardline, unlike Battlefield 4, does not permit each class to have a defensive perk. So naturally, if you're being shot with a weapon without having a defensive perk on, you're going to die much faster. And I don't think everybody realizes that.
I'm not sure if people realize that or not. I mean, only one class has the defensive perk. Technically, only one class has the armor insert.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if people really realize that. I also would like to ask the question, why does the guy with the K10 have the armor insert?
That's a valid point.
Everybody else needs it.
I can't answer that question. There's no way I could answer that question for you.
It's those questions. Those are the questions, and why, like, I really enjoy this because I get to say it openly, and you all get to hear, and we actually get to validate our opinions. But why some of these things, some of these ideas they had were decent. I can agree to the most part on some, but others just leave me perplexed and speechless.
Yeah.
They wanted to produce something that was not the norm. They wanted to completely and utterly set themselves apart, and they did it, just not necessarily in the best way.
Yeah, I mean, the TTK, like we've talked about it, I think the main culprit is netcode, but it can be a result of various things. Player ping versus your ping, the game engine, hit registration, and we're all kind of voicing how it makes us feel, and it causes certain things to happen. Players feeling cheated about kills, feeling that the game's not balanced. Most likely, people are going to play the best class and the best weapon. You just said it with the K10. In terms of the mechanic class. In my opinion, that shit happens too often. Like, what do people play in Battlefield 4? There's more of a diversity of class in Battlefield 4, even though there are a lot of people that play medics and support. If you get a vehicle-centric map, a lot of people are going to play engineer. But in Hardline, because it is infantry-focused, you do have more people playing the enforcer and the operator. The other thing that I said when receiving damage, right? We talked about this. It seems it's instant. So, of course, this is adding to a big frustration level because a lot of people got comfortable playing with low sensitivity. Mouse and keyboard guys like to play with, the majority of them like to play with low sensitivity. So if you increase the TTK, it's, we're going to feel even more cheated because we're used to using our whole arm to, it still takes time to slide your whole arm across the mouse pad.
Yes, it was a huge issue, and Battlefield 4 developers decided to lower the damage model on basically every weapon to increase the TTK so that people stopped feeling like they were being robbed. Why did Visceral think that it'd be a good idea to basically completely undo everything CTE has done for us?
Yeah, this is where it gets gray for me because you wanted to develop this. It does seem like a Twitch reaction based shooter, but there's just mechanics in place that don't allow for that idea to flourish.
Yeah, I mean, if they had gone back to say, if they had made it more arcade shooter feel, if they had taken it closer to like Halo and COD, where it's all hit scan and stuff like that, then I would have no ground to stand on. Because I'm comparing it to a game that doesn't use hit scan. But the fact is they kept bullet travel time in. Not hit scan. It is actual projectiles. So you didn't really step very far away from how we do it previously. All you did was undo a bunch of things that made it so people didn't feel like they were getting robbed.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that. I really get frustrated with that. Obviously, it always happens. Like, people are going to use the best weapons, the best classes. We know this. It's always that way in games. But it'd be nicer if you could balance the classes to a certain extent.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I can really give wholeheartedly to this shortened TTK, the only thing that I can honestly say that Visceral did was they completely and utterly destroyed the skill gap. There is no skill gap. It doesn't matter if you're a new kid or somebody that's been playing the entire time since Alpha. You walk into a firefight, and it doesn't matter how long you've been playing. It's about what your reflex speed is. When do you notice? When do you take action? That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's... I mentioned it, like, you have to constructively think about how you approach situations, but the pace of the game doesn't always allow you to do that. I mean, I know some people may argue, you can set your own pace in how you play the game. To an extent. When you have a 64-player map and you're on bank job, not always the case.
No, a lot of times I look at a situation and I decide that maybe I shouldn't actually engage that situation, and I step back and I seek cover. But by doing so, I've inadvertently opened myself up to another attack from a different side. Because every which way you turn in this game, it seems, there's an enemy there.
Well, I've reached the conclusion that I limit myself to playing on 64-man servers. I just, hey, it's me. It's my personal choice. I'm not telling anybody else to do it. I just don't do it anymore. Unless, not entirely true, unless I do it with a group of friends.
Yeah. But now that we, bashed Visceral over the head with their choices of lowering the TTK.
Yeah, I mean, we've listed some ideas about, how certain aspects of the game may contribute to high TTK, but it seems like, I think we're in agreement that netcode really can't handle these implemented features of the game properly, which ultimately makes for a frustrating game experience.
Yes.
All right. I mean, maybe we should get into, if you don't have anything else to add on TTK, I think we kind of did our fair share of berating it. We can move into like throwables and grenade types. Personally, sorry, I'll let you go ahead.
Actually, grenade types, I have to say, are probably one of my favorite things about Hardline. Out of all of the things in Hardline, the grenades, I really, truly enjoy their approach to the grenades and what they did with it. When I play Battlefield 4 and I chuck that stupid boulder of a grenade that's called an incendiary,
it weighs
nowhere,
400 pounds.
does nothing except for create smoke and a bright, blinding light for half a second. The Molotov gives me what I always wanted, which was fire to prevent the enemy from taking it around.
Yeah, I love the Molotov. I think it's great. It's like a funny little additive feature. And I love how they took something... grenades, for the most part, stay the same in modern warfare shooters. As they should. I guess they don't really change that much. Unless they go like the futuristic route. I like how they took something generic and kind of added a little bit of a style to it. Molotov. That's freaking awesome. I like how they took the incendiary grenade from Battlefield 4 and called it a device and like reduced the class. Like it's not a military grade weapon.
No, it does the equivalent of the Molotov. It produces a large area of fire, which is what I always wanted from it. Like, right. I just want it to burn for a little while so that I can be safe from that direction.
Right. The other thing was, obviously, you love them. I love them. The gas grenades. How people take double damage when you throw one and they get caught up in it, bust out your assault rifle, what have you, and you take them out easily. It's a great way to clear an area, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and it's not, as we said, it's got double damage. If you breathe this stuff in, you're gonna die instantly from anything coughing in your general direction.
Right.
But there's a direct counter that every single class gets. Like, everybody can use it if they just decide to, which I love, because that is pure and true balancing.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. You get a gas mask for people using gas grenades. Do people use it? No, not necessarily. But hey, that's the
sometimes run gas mask if I run into a gas grenade on the map, or I'm playing on an area that happens to have enclosed spaces, bank job, the block. There's a possibility that I'm going to run the gas mask from initial spawn, just because I know people like to throw gas grenades in tiny mats.
Right.
I don't carry gas grenades. I still carry the Molotov, but I equip the gas mask because I know that could be, and I don't want to get double damage, and all of the blinding effects and the coughing that gives you away with that gas grenade.
I gotta say, though, it's not to the point of crazy. Like, I thought it was gonna be really, really bad on Bank Job, like with just people just spamming it, flashbangs and gas grenades. Maybe on the initial push, but not throughout the entire game.
No, there is not nearly the grenade spam that I thought there was gonna be in this game. I thought this, because I've seen, I saw the block, I saw Bank Job, and I was like, oh my god, all the grenades. Really? Not that many. And I think it's because of the low grenade count. People don't get to carry a lot of grenades.
I also think that it's due to the gadget that you can't spam your ammo cache, or you can't spam your med pack either. It's on a longer delay time.
Yes, they are on longer delay time, but the ammo box still has the large, I think it's a minute, that you have to sit on an ammo box to get a new grenade. So you only get to throw one once in a while. The game moves so quickly that you can't sit in one spot for a minute and get a new grenade.
Right, unless you're taking money or something to that extent.
Yes, then you can. Playing blood money, stuff like that. I put them on cars and hot wire so that everybody in the car can keep regenerating their grenades as we go along. So
I love how you can put this stuff on cars. Just to add that, I think that's a great feature.
I specifically will sometimes just wait, like on the side of the road, and watch cars by, and I don't pop shots at the drivers because I know I can't bang them out because I don't have the right weapon or whatever. But I do at least aim for all the ammo bags.
Yeah. The other thing that I was going to try to talk about was the gadgets, right? Some of my personal favorite gadgets, so far, were the grappling hook and the zip line. The grappling hook, in my opinion, although it's somewhat buggy on certain surfaces, I think we've all experienced that. So much damn fun with this gadget, even if I don't have it equipped and I pick it up in the field. It's one of the best features in the game to surprise an opposing force or allow your team to gain the higher ground on levels like the block or something like that, or help your team push a point on the block. Sorry, I just have to keep reiterating the block because if you really try, like, that can be a good tug-of-war map, in my opinion.
Yes, as long as you are making your pushes and you are rotating when you're supposed to. I've seen that map actually work properly, and it's been enjoyable. There are times that it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, and we've called the map cancer. We have, like, in previous shows, I'm pretty sure. But it has its moments.
Yes, it's just like Metro. Metro's grenade spam heaven, and yet, on occasion, there's that 1 in a million game that actually goes normal, and you have to push and pull, and you enjoy Metro for what it truly always was, instead of just Grenade Simulator 2014 or whatever.
Well, also, the other thing that helps on a level like the block or other levels like Everglades is the zipline, or Bank Job, rather, is the zipline. This is, in my opinion, one of my favorite gadgets. Like, I know I said the grappling hook is one of my favorites, but this really is too. The mobility that this gadget allows is pretty ridiculous. I personally use this to back rage, like as a back rage tool. I've done I've done it countless times. It forces the enemy team to push forward, and like then it gets, that team gets sandwiched from both sides.
Oh yeah, I used to run. And I still kind of do for the most part. Like especially on like bank job, if your cops trying to get in the bank, grapple hook, go in through the roof. They do not expect it because the cops do not have easy routes onto the roof. If you're the criminals, use the zip line to literally go around to the front. Everglades, if you climb up onto certain spots, you get clear line of sight way across the map, and you can literally zip line halfway across the map. Like, you can get in behind an enemy so quickly with these gadgets that I wish that there were more of them and you could carry them as well as other things, but they had to balance it. You cannot have every gadget equipped at the same time, otherwise then you'd just be ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to that point, also, I love the fact that you can do that. It changes like if you really wanted to mess with an enemy team, like the zip line is, as well as the grappling hook, because it puts you in spots that people wouldn't normally think about getting into, easily at least. The zip line is like it really is sometimes the equalizer. Like if a team is getting stuck, like they're just stuck in a rut, they can't move. That thing really allows for fast mobility, obviously, because that's really what it's for. It's one of those equalizing tools that I've seen used on maps like the block. I'm never say it again, and it really just rotates, allows the team to rotate, and allows the game flow to be better.
Yeah, no, I agree. I use I probably use the grappling hook 50% of the time to do back rages and 50% of the time to go fucking deal with snipers.
Oh yeah, because we don't have a
Sneaking up on.
UCAV. We don't have a UCAV anymore. Uh,
No, but grappling hook up to a spot that they think they're safe, and you climb up other than the ladder that they stuck that trip mine on, and you just hit him in the face with the baseball bat. Satisfying. So satisfying. I also have
yeah,
to say the fact that you can actually shoot a person with the zip line if you do it correctly is also extraordinarily satisfying.
yeah. I mean, they did a pretty good job of like not making that a troll tool, but I've seen it on occasion where you can hit the opposing team
I
with
didn't
it.
know about it until I accidentally shot somebody trying to set it up.
You know what'd be cool is like if you could do like a knockdown feature, like if you sped up and like you hit the guy.
Oh, so like if you're flying along the zip line and somebody happens to like move in front of your zip line and you are about to hit them, you can like hit the melee thing where you just like tackle them at full speed.
Yeah, it's not like a subdue or anything like that. You just knock them down and like you can shoot them afterwards or whatever. I don't know. But I want to touch on this a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into it because I know it could probably be like a whole nother show on stuff like this. But what about like the armor insert, the stealth training, survivalist? Like, do you think those things kind of blur the line between gadget and class perk?
Those are definitely because why? Stealth training. Stealth training is kind of weird because it's like, hey, I'm going to quiet my footsteps and I'm not going to open doors as loud. So that almost seems more like a perk. And the armor insert, why? Why doesn't everybody have it? Does the mechanic happen to think, hey, bulletproof vest's a good idea?
Yeah, he's the only one. He's the only one. I think, I mean, it's not a complete impossibility for them to really, and we talked about this before, like really rethink perks. Because some of the perks just don't really look good.
Oh yeah, no, we hashed out the perk system before, and we completely outlined some of the parts that were broken in it, and they're broke, and they always will be as long as they're left that way.
Yeah.
When you get third tier, if instead of quick reload or whatever the other one that nobody uses is, because why would you pick something else? If it was quick reload or bulletproof vest, I would have to make a choice at that point.
Right.
I'd actually have to think about it.
So I'm going to close things up here, Anzam. I don't know if you have any closing statements by any chance. But if not, we're going to wrap things up here.
No, I think we are good on this subject.
Okay, guys, I know it was a quick show, but again, my name is THB. I'd like to thank Ansem for contributing to the podcast. If you like the conversation or just want to contribute your 2 cents about specific subjects, leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast and continue to listen to us as the first season goes on. We will see you in the next episode.
Have a good one, guys.